So let's use sine to find the area of a triangle. The formula is area is equal to 1/2 AB times the sine of C. A and B are the two sides on either side of C. So we know that this is angle C, and this can be a little a and this can be a little b. So our formula is area is 1/2 of a, which is 4 times 3 times the sine of 63. After plugging that into our calculator, we should get an area that's equal to, rounded to the nearest tenth, 5.3. Alright, so let's use law of sines to find some missing side lengths in this triangle here. Just one quick reminder, the angle is always opposite of its side. So angle A is opposite of side little a. Little b is opposite of angle B, and angle C is opposite of lowercase c, just so you know. So let's first, I see that I have two angles of a triangle, so I can find what the missing angle A is, and that's going to be 52 degrees. So I'll put that there. Now I have something where I can help find the missing side length of A. Alright, so sine of 52 over little a is equal to sine of B, which is 76, over little b, and sine of C, which is 52 as well, and that's 24. Okay, I just realized something here, that this is an isosceles triangle, so we could do this problem a different way, but I'm going to continue using law of sines to show how this all works out. Okay, so alright, I'm going to take this part of my proportion and set it equal to that part, since this proportion is filled in. So sine of 52 over A is equal to sine of 52 over 24, and if I cross multiply and then divide by that, so A is equal to 24 times the sine of 52 divided by the sine of 52. You can take your calculator and type that in just like that, and you should get A is equal to 24. I also know that's 24 because these end up just canceled, so you get A is 24. Alright, so we need to find the side length of B, and this is where I'll actually have to use the law of sines in its entirety. So I'm going to do some erasing here to give you a clear picture here. Okay, so sine of 52 over A, which we now know is to be 24, and that's equal to sine of 76 over little b. Okay. B is cross multiply divide, so I'm going to multiply these two and then divide by the sine of 52. So B is equal to 24 times the sine of 76 divided by sine of 52. Just type that into your calculator. Make sure your calculator is in degrees. 24 times the sine of 76 divided by sine of 52. And we should get B is equal to 23.8, and that is rounded to the nearest tenth. Okay, so let's use law of sines to find a missing angle measure. So let's start with sine of B over little b equals sine of C over little c. I do not know what angle B is. I do know what little b is, and that's 7. I do know that C is 112. And little c is 10. So we know that the sine of B is equal to 7 times sine of 112. Going to divide that by 10. Okay, so this is where we need to use the inverse sine of 7 times sine of 112 divided by 10 to get the measure of angle B. So B is equal to the inverse sine of 7 times sine of 112 divided by 10. Punch that into your calculator. You're going to press second sine. and 7 times sine of 112. Divide that by 10. And when you're doing this, make sure that you put in parentheses around that sine of 112 before you divide by 10. So we get b is equal to 40.5 degrees. Since b is 40.5, I can now use the fact that triangles add up to 180 to find the measure of angle A. 180 minus 40.5, take away 112, and we get angle A is 27.5. That's going to help us find the side length of A. So we're going to use the law of sines again. Sine of A, which is 27.5 over little a, is equal to, let's go ahead and use sine of C again, which is 112 over 10. Cross multiply, divide. So cross multiply these two numbers and then divide by the sine of 112. I'm doing that on my calculator here. And we should get a side length for A as 4.98, and if they have you round it to the nearest tenth, that just rounds up to 5.